Alright, guys, welcome back to another episode of Unveiled Truths. Today we're going to be going over the left right paradigm. Okay, it says that the left right paradigm is a concept from political sciences and anthropology which proposes that societies have a tendency to divide themselves into ideological opposites. Important contributions to the theory of the paradigm were made by British social anthropologist Rodney Needham, who saw it as a basic human classifying device. It shares affinity with the cultural romantic classic paradigm. The term is used to analyze political discourse since the 19th century. It has, however, been suggested that in the 21st century the paradigm will become less useful as a tool of social political analysis. Some of the major current issues, such as global overpopulation, individual liberties, and biological warfare, cannot be said to follow for either a left or right wing perspective. I don't know about the individual liberties or biological warfare because we can see whenever Beto was in there, or Beto, however you want to pronounce it, doesn't really matter. The Second Amendment says that it's the right of the people to keep and bear arms, and that it shall not be infringed. Infringed means to be broken, and that it says that individual liberties can follow either the left or right wing perspective. But he was trying to take away AR-15s and biological warfare. I don't really see how that cannot follow a left or right wing perspective either, because I mean that has to do with warfare, so it doesn't really make any sense. Which, I mean, there's other cases of unconstitutional things, like for instance our money situation. I already went over that in one of my videos. The first article, section 9 or section 10 of the Constitution or something like that, pretty much says in layman terms that we're not supposed to use any fiat money. We're supposed to have silver or gold. So, like I said, that's just another instance of unconstitutional or individual liberties, if you will. In today's world, it's kind of common for people to talk about the left or right wing perspective. So it seems to me, in any case, that people are kind of falling into this paradigm, the left right paradigm. You either have people on the far left or you have people way on the far right. I think we only had in this selection, I think that there was only 3 parties. Usually there's more parties, I think. I don't know, I'm not that old. I'm 23, so just saying, we got like the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and all that. But all you mainly seen on the news this time was just really the main 2 parties. You had the Democrats and then you had the Republicans, which in the world of the political realm, a Republican and a democracy is completely opposite. They're on opposite sides of the spectrum. Hence the left right paradigm. So we're seeing this left right paradigm, and it kind of seems to go into to ideological subversion or something. Just the way that I see left right paradigm. You know, you got the 2 sides like this, and they make this side look good or this side look good or whatever, and then by human instinct you're like, oh well, we're going to go for this side because this side seems good on camera. You know, they're good cameramen, but in the back room or whatever, they're back there smoking cigars and chilling with one another. And that's why I called it a selection. It's not an election. It's a selection. I actually watched this one video. It's kind of interesting that they took previous elections and they went back all the way to 1940s, and they started like 2020 or something, and then worked their way back all the way to 1940s. And it's interesting because they said that each election was the most important election. And I was just trying to figure out how many important elections we got, you know. We're supposed to be at peace, but obviously we're not going to be at peace. I think that's too much to hope for. It says, used in another context, the phrase refers to a political theory that alleges that members of opposing major political parties, such as the Republican and Democratic parties, so see, there it goes, it's talking about it now, in the United States share common interests as goals, as well as a covertly unified ruling authority over the political issues of the masses. The two major political entities act in concert to create divisiveness among the population while keeping control of the political spectrum. Look at that. I was talking about it and then I read it. It says the left-right paradigm concept theorizes that the two opposing political parties utilize the tremendous hold over mainstream media to dramatize. Okay, so now we're in a melodrama movie. Political distractions and engage in covert warfare and operations and grand performances of bureaucratic rivalry meant to propagandize and divide the populace. Like I said, people are way too commonly, they're like, oh, well, the left wing's doing this, or the left wing, they'll be like, oh, well, the right wing's doing that, and it's like, guys, come on now. Come on. Divisive issues are purposely fed through the major media outlets to divert attention away from the ruling class's hidden and ulterior. I think that, I'm not for sure how to pronounce that. And it says, and sometimes global agendas. Well, one of the presidents did say that, JFK, he says, in his final speech, he said that we are compromised and opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. And the conspiracy, I don't know, you'll just have to, maybe I'll make a video maybe over the word conspiracy. Pretty much what it is that they feed us symbols or whatever, we see the symbols, and it's like they're talking to us through the symbols, pretty much. It's a conspiracy, you know what I mean? And those people are like, oh, well, you know, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. But it's like, well, what happens whenever the conspiracy becomes a fact, you know? So, by drawing attention to the differences between the two embedded political systems, ideologies, races, and classes. So instead of, like, for instance, or an example, if I was filling out an application for a job or something, they say, well, what are you? And then they have, you're a Caucasian, African American, Mexican American, or so forth and so forth. It's like, well, why can't you just put American? I think that that's used to divide even further. It's, in my eyes, it just seems to be a form of segregation, because it's segregated on there. It's asking you what you are, whenever your nation is, or your culture usually is, whenever you become an American. Like, if you're coming over, then you're going to start to learn the American culture. Or if you was born here, then you're already going to know. Or if you was born here, then you're an American. There's no need to say that, you know, you're an African American or whatever. even if your ancestors did come from that, or if you was Chinese American or whatever. I'm not trying to, I don't know, people get sensitive over the race thing. What I'm trying to say is, I know I got tongue twisted there, like brain fart, I guess, I don't know, is that it's just a segregation technique. It says the political groups obscure political clarity and divide unity among the masses. It says the tactic creates confusion and frustration among the population, which enables the ruling class to increase and consolidate their wealth and power through maintaining an illusion of a two-party system of checks and balances that actually work. The theory contends that the fresh interjection of a new political party or group. No one asks, is it really a theory, or can we see this? In my opinion, it's not even a theory, it's a fact, because we see this. We see the division, and it's very prevalent in our world today. Says such as the expanding libertarian or green parties into the political arena would be the only way to provide a means to break the cyclical paradigm. I think that's how you pronounce that. Currently established in the political system. It says the false left-right paradigm is the political theory that members of opposing parties such as Republican and Democrat deceptively share common interests and goals. Not for sure if that's false. It says as a one body ruling authority over the masses. The two parties act to create divisiveness and influence the general population while keeping control of the political spectrum. The false left-right paradigm political theory is closely related to the theory of inverted totalitarianism and managed democracy. It says the false left-right paradigm theorizes that opposing political parties use their influence over the establishment media to dramatize party warfare, distraction, and grand performances of bureaucratic rivalry, meant to propagandize and divide the populace, psychological deception, and coordinated on all levels of political and federal through controlled media outlets. To divert attention away from the ruling class's hidden agenda. By drawing attention to differences between the two political parties' ideologies, races, and classes, the political groups obscure and divide unity among the masses. The tactic creates confusion and frustration among the population, enabling the global elite to increase and consolidate their wealth and power through maintaining an illusion of a two-party system of checks and balances. It says the former Council on Foreign Relations archivist and Georgetown University professor Carroll Quigley, who is known as being President Bill Clinton's mentor, wrote in his 1966 book, Tragedy and Hope, the argument that the two parties should represent opposed ideals and policies, one perhaps of the right and the other of the left, is a foolish idea acceptable only to the doctrinaire and academic thinkers. Instead, the two parties should be almost identical, so the American people can throw the rascals out at any election without leading to any profound or extreme shifts in policy. The concept of freedom in this country is it doesn't, whenever you think of free, it's just not there. Can't own nothing. It seems more like we're owned, just a number put on our head and so forth. They do such a good job at keeping us divided that it's not even funny. And I know that I always go back to Yuri Bezmenov, but he said it so perfectly that all Americans have to do is unplug the bananas from their ears and just look. That there really is no difference, not that much. I mean, it's almost like they just give just enough difference that they make us think that we have a choice in this paradigm. Because that's what it is. It's a left-right paradigm. Right now, it seems like we're in a corpocracy, which what a corpocracy is where the government holds the interests of corporations higher than the interests of the people. Well, they have to now because, for one, they're controlled by a corporation. It's called the Federal Reserve. But it seems like what we're going towards is a techocracy. What a techocracy is where they put us even more on the grid. Such as like credit cards and so forth. You know, just more technology and all that. Okay, so a conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. The action of plotting or conspiring. Alright, so my bad. My definition was not correct at all. I said well, I mean, they could talk through us through symbols or whatever, and then it'd be unlawful, I guess, or harmful. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And it just kind of makes me think. I don't know about y'all, but it really does. It just makes me think. Let me look at techocracy real quick so I can give y'all it's called a technocracy. Okay, here's the definition. It says the government or control of society or industry by an elite of technical experts. So technical. Let's look this up. It says relating to particular subject, art, or craft, or its techniques. What's that one where it's more technical? Techocracy. No? Technocracy? Is it the one that we had looked at? Art or craft. Yeah. Technocracy. Comes from Greek, techne. I think that's how you pronounce that. It means art or craft. And then it says early 20th century technocracy. Let's look at what a technocracy is. There we go. Government's listening to me. It came right up. Okay, yeah, it just goes back to the same thing of technical experts. But we can see that too. It's been going in. They're trying to force us into what is that? A cyberocracy. What is that? In futurology, cyberocracy describes a hypothetical form of government that rules by the effective use of information. The exact nature of cyberocracy is largely speculative, as currently there have been no cyberocratic governments. However, a growing number prototype cyberocratic elements can currently be found in many developed nations. Cyberocracy theory is largely the work of David Ronfeld, who published several papers on the theory. Some sources equate cyberocracy with algorithmic governance, although algorithms are not the only means of processing information. Like, for instance, whenever we been hearing about all these people getting the chips in their hands and all that. See, any technology can be hacked, except for that it's that robot called Sophia or something like that. I heard that she gained citizenships in like Saudi Arabia or something, and they was talking about how she's so advanced that if whoever tries to hack her, that they're not going to be able to, because by the time you make it through the first firewall, she's already got hundreds of more firewalls up or something like that. So not even the smartest person alive could ever hack through the systems. And not to mention, do you know how bad that would be for the stock market? Because if you just think about that for an instant, you know, she could just calculate everything. She'd be the richest. She'd be practically as rich as the people that control the money. So it's just all going back to them anyways. Because they were talking about how the reason that they gave her citizenship is so that she could pay taxes or something like that. Oh no, this stuff is messed up. Like, and you can't make it up. Like, I can't just sit here and be like, oh, okay, there's a robot named Sophie, or oh, there's a left-right paradigm, or you can't make that up. You just got to look into it, and it's crazy. But all right, guys, I hope that y'all learned something. I hope that I said something that maybe stimulated some type of thought or something like that. I'm just putting this information out here for you guys. All right, shalom.